Welcome to Silver Bluff Audubon Center and Sanctuary. We are a 3,400-acre bird and wildlife sanctuary in Aiken County, South Carolina, near Jackson, the small, lovely town of Jackson, South Carolina. We have 3,400 acres on the river, so 2.6 miles of river frontage, and 2 public campuses. So you will not see all 3,400 acres when you come out, but we encourage you to come out and check it out because we have 6 miles of hiking trails at the main campus, along with picnic pavilions and butterfly gardens in the summer. And we also have a second campus called the Cathwood Wood Stork Foraging Ponds. And if you come out there in the summer, you'll see all of our wading birds. We've had as many as 535 wood storks at one time. And in the winter, we have bald eagles raising little eaglets, which is always an excitement for people coming and going. Both campuses are open dawn to dusk every single day of the year, holidays included. So you will find automatic gates that open as dawn hits and close a little after dusk, and so you should not have any trouble getting stuck inside, and there are easy exits even if you do. So please come out and see us. We have a large amount of history here from Revolutionary War era and before, American Indians, all sorts of cool stuff. Governor Hammond owned this place and had a working plantation on site. So a very nice tie of ecology and history here. We encourage you to come out, and if you can only pick a couple places to go, maybe stand on top of Silver Bluff on the Quail Trail so that you can see what it looked like hundreds of years ago before buildings were around. Look down on the Savannah River, out to Georgia. Perhaps check out our wood stork foraging ponds and hopefully see some really great avian species up there. So hope you can make it out, and I hope to see you on site if you do.
Hey y'all, welcome to the very first edition of
Exploring Aiken County with your favorite people, Lauren
and Leah.
We, of course, are staff from the Aiken County Historical Museum, but during the 150th anniversary of Aiken County, which is this year, 2021, if you're watching this in the future, hi! But we are...
Please come back and rescue me.
Exactly. No rescue for you.
Sorry.
No time travel rescue. So we are taking it upon ourselves to travel throughout Aiken County and visit historic sites in our area to celebrate our history. And one of the beautiful sites we're at here today is the Silver Bluff Audubon Sanctuary and Center.
We love this place. We are here in the dead of winter, and it is gorgeous.
And chilly. Yeah.
Can you imagine if this is what it's like now, what it would be like in April, May, June? This place is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps going and going.
Yeah.
Where we are standing, though, right here, we are on literally the Silver Bluffs. It's amazing.
And it's probably, what would you say, Leah, a 30-foot drop down?
Easily 30 feet down. Yes. But the reason that we are here and we wanted to show you the mighty Savannah River behind us is because this is what attracted people to this area. They saw this silver glinting on the bluffs here.
Which is really mica, so no silver harvesting here. Sorry, no panning for silver.
No panning for silver. And they stayed. It's a wonderful place here. It overlooks, oh my goodness, the whole river, and for miles and miles you can see. And so it would have been a very formidable place if you needed to set up camp.
Yeah, very defensible on the bluff here. You wouldn't have to worry about flooding in the area. Plus you've got easy access to a waterway system, which is travel, transportation, trade. For a lot of the Native Americans, this was an ideal area to live, and we do know that there were Native Americans here for thousands of years. Before the first European explorers came through here, which we believe was Hernando de Soto in the 1540s. He was traveling through the southeast area. It started in Florida and come up this way and was traveling towards the western portion of the southern states. And it's actually here that he ran into, supposedly, the Lady of the Cofitachiqui, or sometimes called Cofitachiqui. It was a Native American tribe here. They were matriarchal and they had a queen. And Hernando de Soto thought that they had access to gold and silver. and he kidnapped the queen as sort of, he needed her to guide them to the areas where their valuable metals or pearls or things like that were located. But of course he was outsmarted by her and she escaped and came back to her tribe, which is great for her. And Hernando de Soto, ha 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 ha. He did not get his gold and silver that he wanted from the South Carolina Bluffs.
Some European settlers and explorers to come through. One of them was the famed naturalist William Bartram.
Yes, in fact, y'all can follow William Bartram's trail through Augusta and onto the South Carolina side here at Silver Bluff. And he was a naturalist. He studied, I mean, everybody's heard of Audubon. Of course, we're here at the Audubon Society, but William Bartram was also a very well-known naturalist of his day.
And he came here to visit George Galphin, or Galphin, if you will. And we'll talk about him just more in a minute. But George Galphin actually started a trading post here, and it was used by many, many people from many different walks of life, whether they were natives or soldiers or Europeans that came through as well.
Yes, and there are very interesting names that have passed through this area. We're going to probably do a follow-up video to this on David George, George Lyle, James Henry Hammond, George Galphin, or Galphin. We do know, of course, that ladies were here and that ladies had a crucial role, but darn it, we aren't recorded. Unfortunately,
Indeed.
The history that survives from that period was not written by women, unfortunately.
We are remedying that today.
Exactly. The ladies are bringing back the history. So we are glad to have you here with us today, exploring the Silver Bluff Audubon Sanctuary and Center. We hope that you will come visit it yourself and explore all the wonderful history that's here. They have interpretive panels. We're standing right next to one. You can't see it, but it's just off camera. They have Native American sites here. There are colonial sites. And of course, as we said, we're going to be speaking about Fort Galphin that was here just a little bit. We are standing in front of Fort Galphin, which is an archaeological dig site that has been excavated by the Savannah River Archaeological Research Program. If you come out to the center and you start there on the trail system, you can walk down the Quail Trail and you will come across Fort Galphin. Now, what's fascinating about Fort Galphin, or Fort Galphin, it really could be said either way. It's named after George Galphin, who was an Irish immigrant who came here in 1737, and he, being Irish, I have no idea how he said his last name, and I'm not going to humiliate myself by trying to pronounce it here.
Neither will I.
Yeah.
But if you are Irish and that is your last name, drop us a little video below. Tell us how to say your name.
Yeah, we'd love to know so that we can say it accurately and still humiliate ourselves trying to mimic the accent. So Fort Galphin here is very historic. There, of course, are many historic sites here at Silver Bluff Audubon Sanctuary and Center, but Fort Galphin is a wonderful place to come and visit. They've got an interpretive panel here just off to the side. It tells you about how Fort Moore was one of the British forts that was established in the backwoods of South Carolina, or the Carolina colonies, because we were a very dangerous and outlaw kind of place. I know, the wild, wild west of South Carolina. And so the fort was established here by the British in 1716 to really keep an eye out on the European settlers who were coming into this area, to establish a fort for protection. Although mostly, for the most part, the Native American trading partners here were very peaceful to the area.
For that time, yes.
Yeah, and there was one tribe specifically here that established a town.
Yes, it's actually the Savannah tribe. They were named for Savannah Town is the name of the town, and the Savannah tribe, which were named after the river was named after them, of course, the Savannah River. They were a roving band of Shawnee. And so they were here at that time, and they actually got very close with George Galphin, and as did the Creek tribe that were close to here as well. He had very good relations and partnerships with the natives in the area.
And that was one of the interesting things about George Galphin. He did live here up until the American Revolutionary War period, and even though he was an Irish gentleman, he was really on the Patriot side, and so he used his connections within the Native American area to gain their support for the Patriot side and fight the British alongside the local Patriots. which is very fascinating. And as a result, after his death in 1780, his trading post here, Fort Galphin, or trading post, what was a Galphin trading post, was turned into Fort Galphin and was eventually taken over by the British, though. They got a hold of it and called it Fort Dreadnought.
Dreadnought.
Yes.
I love that name.
Yeah, very, you think like, I don't know, for me I think pirates for some reason.
Yes, yes.
And so, so Fort Dreadnought was the rename of it by the British. But thankfully in 1781, when the Patriots came this area and were about to go into Augusta to take back Augusta from the British, they stopped here first. And this actually was a little bit of a skirmish that occurred here in this site. And believe it or not, Light Horse Harry Lee led that charge, and he ended up being, as we know, the father of Robert E. Lee. So a lot of interesting characters have passed through the Silver Bluff area.
Also on this site in this area was one of the first congregations to meet and worship as a group here in this country. We were, of course, the colonies still at that point, but there were a few men that came together. One of them was David George. One was George Lyle.
The Georges, I like to call them.
The Georges, yes. And they were both born enslaved, but they also were two of the very first African American ministers in this country. And that congregation met as early as the 1750s, and at that time there were both black and white members, and it was a non-denominational church.
Which is amazing for the time period when you think about it.
For the time.
Yeah.
And I'll get more into it with our video about George Lyle. Amazing character. You need to hear about him. But at that point, it was just a group of people that were, as Lauren said, in the backcountry, and they needed a place to come together to worship. Now, this congregation was officially made a church in the 1770s, and it was Silver Bluff Baptist Church. And if you just go down the road a piece on Old Jackson Highway, you will still, to this day, find Silver Bluff Baptist Church, still in existence, still meeting. And the fellas that started the church, they went on to start many other churches and to found many other missions as well.
Wonderful. Well, y'all, there's so much history out here. We do hope that you come out and explore Silver Bluff Audubon Sanctuary and Center and have just as much fun as we have had learning about the earliest beginnings of Aiken County here in the Beach Island area.